Hey there guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be looking at the 25 games that are included with the A500 Mini. More specifically, what we're going to do is take a little look at how they rated back in the day. Okay, we've all got our own opinions and we've all been playing these games for a long time now. And we may not be aware of what these games actually rated at when they came out. There may also be some of these games on here, like myself. There's a few games that I've never played before, because I think even if you're an avid retro gamer, sometimes, you know, games slip through the cracks of what you will play and won't play. And you know, I must confess, I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to some games. You know, I'll look at the artworks and stuff and the style of game. I'm not a massive platform gamer, so certainly some of them I will play, but not all are my jam. So, you know, it's like, it's nice to know what we're letting ourselves in for with this console in terms of quality of the games. And of course, magazine reviews are also subjective. I'm not going to say just because a magazine gives it a good score that makes it a good game. You know, it's just to give a rough idea of the quality of the games that are going to be included with this console, and we'll see at the end of it really what our opinions are on whether we think the games that are included are good or not. Okay guys, without further ado, we will crack on with the first game. Okay, as we can see here, the very first game on this list is Alien Breed 3D. Now, I've tried to take most of the reviews from the same magazine, which is Amiga format. There may be a couple that aren't from there, so you'll probably notice that as we go along. Obviously, I have done this from magazine captures that are already on the internet. There's a brilliant website, and I will flash it up on the screen, or I'll put it in the comments. You can go and have a look at these games, and it gives way more magazines than just one, so you'll get a rough idea, obviously, of the score looking at more magazines, but I've just taken one at random. I've tried to do the same magazine every way through, because then it gives a pretty much like a subjective view a bit more, you know, because it's coming from the same reviewers and everything. But yes, here we go. So Alien Breed 3D, they rate at 93%. I must admit, I didn't play Alien Breed 3D. The next one that's going to come up afterwards, the Special Edition 92, I played and I enjoyed. Very kind of, to me, like kind of a gauntlet style game, I guess, really, involving aliens. That's the way I sort of used to think it was back in the day. This one I don't know much about, and it looks very much like a Doom clone, if I'm honest, but it got 93% here, which, you know, it's pretty good. But it says on there, they said people bought PCs to play Doom. People should buy A1200s in droves to play Alien Breed 3D, one of the finest Amiga games ever. Okay, well, there you go. That's pretty high praise indeed. And obviously you can see some of the screenshots on there, but yeah, they seem to rate it highly. I'm sure you guys will have your own opinions. Let me know in the comments what you think of this particular game. In fact, every game we come across, let me know what you think. Personally speaking, I've never played it. I love Doom, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. Okay, next up we have Alien Breed Special Edition. Now, this is only a small review. This was the only one I could find from Amiga format. And again, we're sticking with the same principle of trying to stick with the same magazine. So 87% says, for those of you who haven't played the original, and if you enjoy a good shoot 'em up, they don't come much better than this. If you do have the game, I would still advise you think seriously about getting this version. It really is quite a lot better. And it's snip only 11 quid. Well, back in the day, obviously, yeah. 11 quid, what a, imagine if we could buy new games for that money this day and age. 70 quid for Returnal still on the PS5. I still haven't got that yet. For that reason alone, I refuse to pay 70 quid for a game. It's crazy. But anyway, we don't want to get into that discussion. We are talking about retro games here, and Alien Breed 92 is one I have played. Like I said, it does remind me quite a lot of Gauntlet. Obviously, it's that same perspective. You top down, you've got to find keys for doors and stuff. I enjoyed it back in the day. I'm looking forward to playing it again, but yeah, it depends on your bag. You know, this is very much of a niche kind of genre, and I liked it. What did you guys think? Let me know. Okay, moving on, we have Another World. Now, I was a massive fan of this. I really did enjoy it. But there was a frustrating element, which I think everyone would agree. This is a 3-page review, by the way, so that's why obviously it comes up slightly smaller, because obviously you can only fit so much on one screen. I was thinking about breaking them all down, but I decided against that. Okay, let's zoom in and have a look. Say, I've either zoomed in on the video or I haven't, so you'll know one way or the other if I have or not. But I'm going to read it to you anyway. The verdicts on most of these: 82% for Another World. So it's not great, it's not the best, but it's not bad. Wildly wonderful graphics that will leave you begging for more. Precise use of sound, has real depth to graphic atmosphere. Occasionally has Space Ace gameplay tendencies. Yeah, I think that too. If you ever played Space Ace or Dragon's Lair, it's a bit like that sometimes, where, you know, it kind of be like a one-hit kill, and you're sort of like making joystick prompts and button prompts and stuff. One wrong move and you're dead. One right move and you're still dead. Yeah, true. A powerful package with some excellent moments let down by the odd gameplay slip. Yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit easier to complete this game. I never have done on an Amiga, but it may be easier now because obviously of the save game states. We might be able to save it every time we complete a difficult part, which we know there's a lot of them if you've ever played this game. But I liked it a lot when I played it on the Amiga, and it is still rated as one of the classic games. Maybe, you know, it's not for everybody. Like I said, it's not like a full-on action romp like a Call of Duty or something like that. There is a lot of like stylistic content, and you know, but it's not for everyone. But I liked Another World, and another good game, 82%. So we're doing very good with the review so far. Okay, on to Arcade Pool, another game I've played and enjoyed very much. I've actually got a separate video on here, which I'll try and leave a link for, of me playing Arcade Pool, you know, for one of my segments. So here we go, let's have a little look. 94%. And Arcade Pool verdict says, Arcade Pool is so good it should have been called Sensible Pool. Okay, that's a good statement. If there's a more playable new game released in 94 for under a tenner, then I'll go to the pub and buy it. I don't know why there's 3 aisles there, but maybe the bloke's got a stutter. Or the lady, actually, because it looks like it's Claire. I know, it's Stephen Bradley. I thought it was Claire because there's a Claire Bradley up there. He was obviously playing it against his wife, I guess, maybe. But there you go. So yeah, back in the day, $9.99. Wow. So very good value. Yeah, I loved Arcade Pool. I thought it was excellent. The Archer McLean's pool was probably the superior pool game, so we're not getting the best pool game, in my opinion. I mean, again, I'm not an expert. This is just my opinion, so you know, you may differ with that, but for me, Arcade Pool ranked second to Archer McLean's Pool personally, but still a very good game, a fun game, and it's kind of reminiscent of that game you can get on the mobile. I can't exactly remember what it's called. I'm sure people will say in the comments, but and it reminds me a lot of that. And it's fun. You just gotta, it's slightly more difficult to pick your angles and stuff, but then I think you get a guide line on it, which is pretty helpful. So let me know what you think of Arcade Pool in the comments below. Moving on to a game I haven't played, ATR, which is All-Terrain Racer, Racing, I believe. Again, it looks like Stephen Bradley must have reviewed this, so this is what we're going for, like consistency of reviewers. Let's see if I can zoom this picture in a little bit. I'm zooming it in for me anyway. This may not be in the video, I keep saying that, you know, because I don't know if I'm going to mess around too much with the post-production, but okay, as long as I read out what's in the verdict, you'll know what's on there, because I'm not going to fudge anything. Okay, so we've got 70%, which I'm sure you can all see from the video. Graphics 8 out of 10, nice perspective, well drawn, sound 7, addiction 6, playability 6. This is not quite the racing game. It's Team 17 again. I've noticed there's a lot of Team 17 games. I think I said that in the last video. Not quite the racing game Team 17 promised. ATR is okay, but nothing more than that. I mean, it doesn't look too bad to me, but you know, I've never played it, so I used to think top-down racing games were quite fun on the retro consoles. I mean, Micro Machines is probably the pick of the bunch, although there's a few good ones on the Amiga, and I don't know how this ranks alongside them, but 70% still not a bad score. It's the lowest one we've had so far, so that's not too bad. Next up, now the only review I could find that was decent-ish on Battle Chess was this one. I don't know what magazine. Oh, this is from Amiga Format. This must have been a very early one, yeah, because this was an early release, wasn't it? It got 85% overall. Lasting interest 4.5. I guess for a chess game, you're always going to have lasting interest, aren't you? The conclusion for... So they've reviewed both games at once here, so I've got to pick the bones out of it. But it says Battle Chess is a fine program with attention paid to every detail, from the full-scale riots of a chess game to the creative display of its menus. It looks like they preferred Colossus X above Battle Chess, but I think anyone who's played Battle Chess knows it's a fun game, and you know, I don't think you can really go wrong. I don't know if I would have paid 25 quid for it way back when, but no, still a decent game, a good game, and definitely I think worthy of inclusion on here. Now we have Cadaver, which got 83% overall, 8 for graphics, which yeah, back then these isometric games were very nice, weren't they? Yeah, that looks decent graphics. I did play this, I think, but I can't remember too much about it. It reminds you very much of like the ZX Spectrum days of Head Over Heels and stuff like that. Now, the judgment says Cadaver is one of those games which is taking a great deal of work in and will be fun to play from now until you finally finish the damn thing. Well, it sounds like save game states are going to be key on this one as well. There are a few illogicalities, well, yeah, that's a heck of a long word, in the play, such as losing a key or being pinned inside 3 spikes, moans aside for a moment. There's no way in which the adventuresome type, the strategist or the arcade freak or even Caradoc the dwarf himself won't get some real enjoyment out of this game. Not a classic, but most certainly an excellent game. 83% though. So again, it's not bad. You guys played this? Let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, not too bad. It's one of them middle of the road games for me, as far as I'm concerned. I'll definitely give it a go, and I did play it. You know, I did own it back in the day. I had the expansion pack and everything. I can't actually remember what that was called, but I had that in the same pack. I think I bought it on a Kicks label, but you know, I never really got into it that much. I used to do that back then. I had lots of games that, you know, I'd play a few times and then probably move on to something else. Okay, next we have California Games. Now, I played the heck out of this on the Commodore 64, but not really that much on the Amiga, so I'm assuming it's probably just the same kind of game with better graphics. Yeah, it's got 84%. This must have been when it was released on budget, because it's $7.99. Again, I could have gone for a different review, but I wanted to keep the Amiga format reviews going. And the summation on this one says California Games is an excellent compilation with plenty of diversity to keep you well occupied until the end of a long, hot summer. Oh, it's going to do that now, isn't it? Because it's coming out in April, so summer will only be a month or so away from starting, or 2 months actually. So yeah, I think if you've played this kind of game, it's from the same people that make summer games, winter games, on the retro consoles like Commodore 64 and that, and pretty much follows the same style of pattern of those games. You know, obviously you can play individual events, you can practice individual events, or you can compete in a big competition against your mates, and it'll be good fun. I think. I think little consoles like that, they need these games, don't they? Like the multiplayer competition games. So yeah, I think that's good, and I'm looking forward to playing a bit more of that. Next we have Dragon's Breath. Now this is a game I haven't played, but I know a lot of you have said this is very good, so I am looking forward to getting into this. It looks like it's the kind of game that might be right up my street. We will see. Yeah, there we go. So we will read the judgment. Overall, we've got 94%, 8 for graphics, 7 sound, 7 intellect, and 8 for addiction. Dragon's Breath is serious danger of becoming a cult computer game. People who are fans of the D&D series of games, fantasy roleplay in general, are going to find this almost impossible to resist. I'm not going to read all that, but I'll just read a little bit more. If you have to play solo, you'll still find it excellent stuff. The computer players are no pushover by any stretch of the imagination. So there you go. So it looks like it's going to be like a multiplayer style game. Well, I'm guessing, like I'm talking to you guys, you probably already know this, because you've probably played it. Looking at this is more and more the kind of game that I get into this day and age, you know, so I'm very much looking forward to having a go at that. But yeah, 94%, that's, I think, the highest mark we've had so far. Certainly one of the highest, if not the highest. So there you go, looking forward to playing that one. Okay, next we have F-16 Combat Pilot. We've all played flight games, and this one, well, 94%. Sorry, I just flicked the screen on mine and gone to another picture entirely. But yes, 94%. Weird actually, because it's got 8 graphics, 8 addiction, and it's got 5 for sound and intellect. So, but it gets 94 overall. So yeah, there's a strange way of reviewing, I guess, but you know, does look good. The judgment here, it says plenty of action suit, combat hungry, and attention to detail will please delight the flight purists. Once you get into the campaign game or take on human, you'll find yourself playing hours at a stretch and coming back at it time and time again. As DI, which I think is are they the people that produced the game? I guess they must be. Can't see any evidence of that on the screen. As DI keep proving, when it comes to simulations, especially ones involving aircraft, they're very hard to beat. So yeah, there we go. That's oh yeah, digital integration. God, it couldn't be in bigger letters, could it really, at the top of the page? Yeah, so we've all played flight sim games, I'm pretty sure, at some point. One was included, obviously, in most packs when you first got the Amiga. Not this one, but FA-18 Interceptor was the one that I got with mine. Yeah, so flight sims are pretty good. It's not going to be a Microsoft flight simulator like we've got out at the present time, but you know, it looks very good graphics-wise for the Commodore Amiga back in the day. So I'm looking forward to that. That looks pretty good. Next, we have one of my favourite games of all time, Kickoff 2. This is one I can really talk about because I love it. It used to be my go-to football game. With the expansion packs. Return to Europe was my expansion pack that I loved. Always been a Manchester United fan since I was a baby, you know, so I've been one for 48 years now. Literally, I had my first Man United kit when I was in the crib. So, you know, I'm definitely United till I die, I would say, even though we are absolute rubbish at this present moment in time. But there you go. That's a digression. But in the day, we were good, and Return to Europe was the go-to pack, and it was amazing, and I love it. Graphics 9, sound 6, but then you don't really need much sound apart from whistles in a football match and crowd cheers. Intellect 4, don't necessarily agree with that, because playing football is not just hoofing it, or it can be, I guess, but there's a bit of skill involved as well. Addiction 9, of course. Judgment, if you don't own Kickoff, go for this instead. If you do already or own Player Manager, it's still worth considering. Yeah, Kickoff was great, but the original didn't come with Aftertouch, which obviously curved the ball. Then you got an expansion pack that did give it Aftertouch, but it seemed to go like a banana. But I still loved it. I still loved playing it with that. But then when Kickoff 2 came, it kind of honed the whole thing. You got aftertouch included, and yeah, it did it better. And obviously you got like brilliant free kicks and stuff. It used to be so exciting to get a free kick on the edge of the box and try out your new skills. I love Kickoff 2. It's awesome. I love Sensible Soccer 2. I really find it hard to say which one I prefer, because I think they're both kind of, they do football great, but they do it differently. So I like both personally. I can't really pick a favourite. But needless to say, I will be adding Sensible World of Soccer to my, Amiga 500 Mini pretty much immediately. But I will be playing the heck out of this. I'll also be adding Player Manager as well, because I love that too. I might even add Original Kickoff as well with the expansion pack. So we will see. But yeah, there we go. I don't need to say much more about this. It's an awesome football game, and I'm pretty sure most of you that are into football have played it and know how great it is. And only 20 quid. Look at that. £19.95. Wow. Value for money. Okay, next we have Paradroid 90. And this one, you can read the small print down the bottom there, scores 88%. And the judgment says, on the 8-bit machines, it has long been considered a classic. I think that's where I've played it, on Commodore 64 maybe. Now with the extra power of the Amiga, new life has been injected into the game. The pace is more frantic, the game is bigger, and the look is more polished. All the gameplay that made the original hit has been retained. So if you're a fan of it from any other system back before, then I'm pretty sure you'll get something out of this. I don't actually remember much about Paradroid. I remember it was good. I don't think I thought it was a rubbish game by any means. I did enjoy playing it, but I don't have many memories of it, so whether that means it wasn't my kind of game, but that doesn't deter from the fact, obviously, you know, I am not God, so it doesn't mean because it's not my kind of game, it's not good, and I think I did enjoy it, so I don't know, I'm looking forward to getting back into it a little bit more, I think, and giving it a go. Okay, next we have, I assume I'm on here, oh yeah, I'm on here for Pinball Dreams. I was distracted by Powermonger then, because I like Powermonger. They didn't get a very good score, but Pinball Dreams did get a good score, and that's the one we're focusing on here. 87%, says absolutely top-notch silver ball action, hampered only by a slight lack of imagination in table design. All the same, you'll play this for years to come, and quite right too. I don't remember if it was this one I had, or the other one, which was what, Pinball Illusions, was it? Pinball Fantasies. Yeah, Pinball Fantasies, that's the one. I'm looking at Digital Illusions on the author side of it there and getting confused. Yeah, Pinball Fantasies is the one I think I had. But I think they're made by the same people, as far as I know. So, you know, it's going to be pretty much the same if you were into one or the other. Yeah, just checking the review to see if it's got any mention of... Maybe this one came first and the other one came second, I don't know. But I seem to remember a table with a clown. I always remember that, an image of a clown. So... whichever one that was the one I had. I think pretty sure it was Fantasies was the one I had. But anyway, I enjoyed that back then. And yeah, 87%. So it looks like the magazines enjoyed this one too. So another solid game. Okay, we are here for Project X, which I know a lot of you really like. For me, I'm not much into side-scrolling shooters, so this is probably why I've never played this. It's yet another Team 17 game, which they seem to be dominating. They must have had a real sweetheart deal with Team 17, mustn't they, to get most of their games on here. But yeah, 92%. It says it's hard to say whether or not this sexier version is worth an extra tenner if you bought the original. Well, that's not relevant for us, obviously. But think of all the money you save on sedatives if you did. Okay, interesting comment. If you don't already own the full pricier, then don't buy another piece of software till you snap this up. The full pricier. That's a fun way of putting it, isn't it? It's another Stephen Bradley review by the looks of it. SB's written on there. Yeah, so you guys let me know what you think of this, because I haven't actually played it. It looks quite good graphically. Just maybe it's not my style of game, but I don't really like side-scrolling shoot games. Like back in the day, I used to play Defender in the arcades, but not really much of a fan of this style of game. Okay, so yeah, let me know what you think on that one. But 92% looks like another good one. Then we have Qwak. Now this is one that when it got announced, I was a bit like, nah, you know, I'd heard of it. It doesn't really look like the sort of game I will want to play too much, but obviously it's coming on the console, so I will be giving it a go. But you know, I'm not going to turn around and say I'm not going to play any of these games, you know, if they're rubbish. But yeah, this one didn't really excite me too much. 85% though from then, so it's not bad review. I just basically don't think it's my type of game, and I know there's a few people that I've heard comments on that are disappointed that this is on here. No frills, no graphical trickery, and no surprises, just good solid gameplay. Well, that's good to hear. And a tried and tested formula make this an addictive and enjoyable game. It just looks a bit weird to me, but then obviously I'm seeing it with no context, obviously. So if any of you guys have played it, let me know what you think in the comments below. Simon the Sorcerer is the next game. Now, obviously I've heard of this, who hasn't? I love the LucasArts point and click adventures from obviously Amiga onwards, PC as well. I haven't actually played this. Now, I've heard it's good, and they describe it at the top there. If you see, it says, could Simon the Sorcerer really be Britain's answer to the magnificent Monkey Island? Obviously, it did come out in kind of competition with those style games, which, yeah, it's a stiff competition, isn't it? Let's face it. It didn't seem to score very highly on sound either, looking at the marks up there. So, you know, that's probably a bit of a I suppose the original Monkey Island didn't have lots of sound on it, but here we go. So the verdict says, a flawed mix of mouth-watering visuals, cutesy characters and complex puzzles, Simon the Sorcerer offers you a great graphic adventure in a less than perfect game engine. Yeah, I guess it was probably hard to compete with the LucasArts style of game engine. They seem to have done quite a good job replicating it though, looking at it. I'm looking forward to giving this a go, because I've had it on various emulators, you know, in the last few years, but I've never actually played it. I think I always get drawn into Monkey Island 2, like Indiana Jones, all the LucasArts ones basically, Zach McCracken, you know, and I get sidetracked, and obviously they take up quite a lot of time, don't they? So then I don't really feel like I'm in the mood for another one. So Simon the Sorcerer games just tend to get overlooked really, but I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably played it. Let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll give it a go for sure. And it looks good. I mean, 84%, again, another good review. Next we have another game that I can talk about till the cows come home, Speedball 2. Most people that owned an Amiga and enjoyed a bit of a challenge with their mates would probably have played Speedball 2 at some point. What is there to say about this? An absolute classic, of course, sort of futuristic sports game where you're throwing a ball around and you're wearing like American football style shoulder pads and helmets and stuff, and trying to throw the ball in a goal at the opposite end of the field and trying to keep the ball out of your goal. You've got a few gizmos and gadgets around the side of the arena that can add sort of like things to your team and give you extra points and stuff, like the stars and the little whirly helter-skelter thing you can throw the ball into, and you can just like smack the heck out of other players and just try and score more goals. I think you could add a little bit of aftertouch to the ball if you wanted to, just to change the direction of the throw. One of them games that obviously comes into its own when you play it against somebody else, but it's still a fun single player game as well, building up your team. Brutal Deluxe, as they were called, and overall 94%. Superb graphics and sound perfectly evoke a tough futuristic atmosphere. Marvellous attention to detail, depth of play make the game thoroughly involving experience for weeks. It's kind of like RPG mechanics as well. You can level up your players and add them shoulder pads and equipment and stuff, so it's fun. The best future sport available so far. It makes gridiron football look like the Royal Ballet. Well, there you go, there's a good review. Yeah, absolutely brilliant game, fun as heck. I love it. I've got a video of me playing it on my channel as well, and who can forget the notorious ice cream chant that goes on in the background. Just a little bit of a detail that I absolutely love, like, you know, as if some ice cream vendors in the stand like selling his ice creams. It's brilliant. There you go. It even says in the review there, an extremely annoying salesman who shouts out ice cream at every possible opportunity. Maybe it annoys if you play it quite a lot, but it's fun the first time you hear it, at least, that is for sure. Okay guys, we'll better move on because I will talk about this game all day, but 94%, what can you say? A classic. Next we have Stunt Car Racer, 93%. I used to love this game. I remember one Christmas I stayed at my aunt and uncle's house, and my cousin's husband worked in a game shop, and he hired he borrowed from the shop a Commodore Amiga and a load of games just to keep me and my brother happy because we were there for a couple of days. And he bought Ghostbusters 2 with him, and he bought Stunt Car Racer. And Stunt Car Racer is the one we just absolutely played it to bits. Me and my brother, we absolutely loved it. Yeah, it's fun. It's like a little bit scary because you're driving on a ramp on like a very small sort of like raised track, and you're going quite fast around it, and you're going over jumps and doing stunts and stuff, and racing against somebody else. So it's a lot of fun. It covers a lot of bases. As you can see, it's got good graphics for the time it came out as well. 9 on the addiction scale they give it, and 7 for sound, 9 for I don't know what intellect rates as really, because it's always, every game I've seen so far is low, so I don't know what they're looking for intellect wise. But yeah, like it says, part of the review says, what's not so easy is staying on the elevated tracks which twist and turn, dip and rise the whole way around. Yeah, so it does make it a bit of a scary experience sometimes. Yeah, the judgment says this is gripping stuff, action all the way. You'll really be holding your breath as you go flying over the jumps, gritting your teeth with determination when you see your opponent go whizzing past. All it lacks is an instant replay option to allow out-of-cockpit view of those spectacular crashes. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. It is missing that for sure. But definitely a classic game and one that everybody should look forward to playing, I think. Okay, another top-down racing next, Supercars 2. Now this is one I have played and it does the genre proud. It really is a good game, Supercars 2, so I'm happy to see this included on here. And yeah, I mean, I haven't played all-terrain racing, but it'll have to go some to beat this one. It's definitely a very good game. So here we go. Supercars is a must if you're a racing fan. It says Supercars there, but it's definitely Supercars 2. Okay, that's good, just checking. Thought I'd picked the wrong review then. Yeah, 93 graphics, 75 sound, 83% lastability, and 91% playability, 90 overall. I think this is a review from a different magazine, and I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I think I could find one for the Amiga format looking at it, because they haven't got intellect in there on this one, which I prefer lastability, to be honest. But yes, a great game. Let's see if we can find, where's the verdict? The last line said, Supercars 2 is a great improvement over its predecessor. That was a hit, and I'm sure this will be too. Supercars 2 is a must for any racing fanatic. Yeah, again, it's got a valid criticism on it. It's a shame that, unlike the original, you can't buy a better car or choose a track any order you want. So yeah, that's a valid point, isn't it, really? But still a great game, 90%. They've picked another good one there. So the lowest score we've had so far is 70%. So they're doing pretty well. Again, these reviews, like I say, are subjective. They're from the day games were released and that, but also obviously we've had the sort of like foresight of playing them for 30 years since the reviews came out, so these aren't the be all and end all. Okay, next we have a 3-page review of Chaos Engine. Huge review. Now I've got to locate the score, which is in the bottom corner, obviously, as always. 89%. I remember liking the Chaos Engine. It wasn't my favourite game, but it was. I remember the fascination for me was it was made by the Bitmap brothers, the same people that made Speedball 2, and you could sort of see that the graphics were pretty similar. Like their character models and everything else were a very distinctive style, and you could tell. And that was kind of exciting for me because I was such a huge fan of Speedball 2. So when I saw like they'd brought out a shooter in that style, I was very excited. Okay, so the bottom line says superb arcade adventure and antics in the bitmaps, combining innovation, tried and tested ideas, technical achievements, but most importantly a truckload of fun, a spectacular return to form and an unmissable game. So there you go. Yeah, it's a fun game, and I think most of us Amiga heads have probably played the Chaos Engine before. I remember it came with a nice box as well. It had some postcards and stuff in it. It was a very nicely presented game. So I must admit, I am looking forward to getting back into this. It's been a long time since I've played it, but I do remember having a lot of fun with it. Okay, Lost Patrol next. Another game I owned. I didn't play it that much because I was a kid, obviously, when I owned it, and it was complicated. I just wanted to play games that I could really play. So yeah, I've got a lot of catching up to do with this game, and I'm looking forward to it. Graphics 9, as you can see from some of the screenshots. The graphics for the age we were in back then were mind-blowing. Sound doesn't seem to get a lot, only 4. It's got 79 overall, so not the highest scorer, I guess, but let's see what they say in the judgment. It says Lost Patrol looks good, plays well enough to capture the atmosphere of America's worst national nightmare. There's little unity in the squad, no will to survive. No one will survive, that'd be good, wouldn't it, if you play a game where no one lives. And you, as Sergeant Weaver, must turn these city boys into jungle warriors. I'm not going to read all of this. Yeah, there's no more about the quality of the game there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into it. I know a lot of people do swear by this game. I think it's brilliant. So I played it a little bit, and then I remember my game box got absolutely destroyed. And yeah, I think one of the discs stopped working, and it was just one of the things where I just didn't play it enough to justify getting a replacement. So looking forward to getting into this a little bit more. And yeah, it's our second lowest scoring game so far, but 79 is still a good score, so it's proving so far that they are picking some good games. Here next we have another game that I haven't played called the Sentinel, which to me looks very much like, is it made by the same people who do Elite? It looks very much like an Elite style game to me. I mean, I could be totally wrong on that because I haven't played it, but I haven't played Elite, to be fair, which is not good. I know that's my retro gaming cred crashing through the floor, but it was never really my thing. You know, when it came out, I was more into playing sports games and shooters and stuff. I wasn't really into the simulator style games, so it just kind of passed me by, really. But I know people rave about Elite. They say it's great. I don't know if this is anything like it. Let me know down below if I'm talking absolute rubbish. I probably am. I always am, let's face it. But it's got 82% overall, so again, not too bad. Conclusion, what does it say? I don't want to read all that because there's loads there. Like chess, you could be playing this game forever. It's an instant classic. That's a strange thing to say, to give then something 82%, isn't it? If they reckon you could be playing it forever. I don't actually know what style of game this is now. Now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, I'm confused. If they're comparing it to chess, Can that really be like a flying simulator game? I don't know. Best way to do, when I get my console, I'll give it a go. Maybe I'll stick a review up at some point. If you've played it before, let me know what it's about down in the comments. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, another game that I thought was a bit meh. Titus the Fox. I say this coming from a point of view of never having played it before, but I know a lot of people were thinking things like James Pond could be on here instead and stuff like that, and it was a bit of a waste of time and stuff having this one on here, so I don't know. 81%, not a great review, not a terrible review. If you thought Blues Brothers was great, you'll love this. Well, Blues Brothers I didn't think was great, so that rules that one out for a start. Cute, and even more cute. Very awkward controls, 1 pixel out, and the Fox gets it. Oh, that sounds encouraging. Loading takes so long, you're bored before you even start the game. Okay, well, that is glowing, that is, isn't it? Claire Hodgson wrote this back in the day. Yes. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. Doesn't look like anything special to me. I think that and Qwak are probably the games that are going to be least played on my Mini, but I guess we'll see. You never know. I could get into it. Anyone played it before? Let me know. Worms Director's Cut. Well, Worms has been around since it feels like the dawn of time, and this was a confusing review to put up actually, because we've got, look, an overall verdict. I think this is because it's the Director's Cut. I'm guessing obviously it's not that different from the original, so they're probably giving it 45%. Let's have a look. Harsh it seems. I can't recommend this to anyone who's got the original, because you'd be sorely disappointed by any lack of substantial additions. Yes, so it's 45% for the overall thing, like, because it's like a, you know, there's nothing much changed from the original. But as they qualify below, if you don't own the original, it's an excellent game and should be in everybody's collection, and 90%. So we've got to go with the 90% review, because obviously it's the only one we're going to have on the console, and it's a game that I think a lot of people have played, I would assume. I don't want to, like, you know, speak for everybody, but yeah, fun game. I remember playing it, and I think I'll get into it again. It's been on various formats, hasn't it, over its time, over its period that it's been out, so I think everybody's heard of Worms, so I don't need to go on about that too much, but 90%, another good game. Okay, and finally, I think this is the last one. Yes, Zool. Another 3-page review. So colourful, this game. So colourful. This was also an Amiga format review, I believe. Yes, it was. 1992. And believe it or not, right, I believe, and I have to go and check back through everything else, this could be the highest scoring game of the lot, which it kind of blows my mind a little bit, to be honest, because maybe it shoots the credibility of this entire video down to say this is the highest. I'm not going to say that it's rubbish, but I don't rate it personally better than Kickoff 2 or Speedball 2, or not even higher than Stunt Car Racer in my opinion. So, but still a good game. I'm not saying it's rubbish at all. You know, I just don't see it as being the highest scorer. But you get a mind-blowing trip with volume turned up, graphics get their thermonuclear. I couldn't read that because it's so blurry. Thermonuclear protection before you look at these screens. I don't understand actually what that sentence means, to be honest. Graphics get thermonuclear. I know that sentence does not make sense. A mind-blowing trip with the volume turned up graphics. Get thermonuclear protection before you look at these screens. Oh, okay. Well, kind of, yeah. That's a very confusing sentence. Scrolling that's smoother than cream in those horrible American cakes. This person was on drugs when he reviewed this game. Ultra responsive control method makes dodging, weaving, ducking and diving a cinch. Okay, from Yorkshire. A mega fast, mega vast, mega blast. Oh god. Catchy. Yeah, sorry, I was having trouble reading some of that because it's blurry, because obviously it's a 3-page review, so even zooming in makes it a bit blurry to look at. Yeah, well, they love it. They seem to love it. The options screen at the start of Zool lets you select the soundtrack. That's very cool, actually. I know I had Zool back then. I keep saying back in the day. I'm going to stop saying that now because that's becoming my catchphrase. But yeah, when it came out, I had Zool. I did like it. But again, it's one of those genres for me. Platforming games are not my all-time favourites. I don't dislike them. I love games like Mario and stuff and Sonic. Awesome. I think there was a time period around that time where there were a lot of platform games. And I think for me, they became a bit, oh god, it's another platform game, you know. And even though I enjoyed Super Frog, in fact, I would probably have preferred to see Super Frog on here than Zool, personally. But, you know, it's one of these games that I haven't given a lot of time to, so I'm not in a position to say one is better than the other. You know, it's just my subjective opinion on that one. How about you lot? Have you played Zool? Have you played Super Frog? Which one do you think's better? You know, do you think Super Frog should have been on here instead of... I would say Super Frog definitely should have been on here instead of Qwak or Titus the Fox, personally. But then I've never played either one of them, so I just know I enjoyed Super Frog. But there you go. But Zool looks good, and back then they definitely think it was good. So who are we to argue? We've only been playing these games for 30 odd years, or some of them, so I don't know. Okay guys, so there we go. We've looked through these magazines, and obviously there's some surprises in there, to be honest with you. I didn't expect, personally speaking, that I was going to see that Zool was the top rated game. We've had a few 94s. Arcade Paul was 94, Kickoff 2 was 94, and Speedball 2 was 94. I think Stunt Car Racer was up there too in the 90s. So there are plenty of games basically that hit the 90% bracket, which I think is excellent, really. You know, it does prove that, okay, it's only one or two magazines' opinions, but, you know, back then these were considered like the best of the best sort of thing, or some of them were considered the best of the best. Again, like I said, we have the hindsight and the benefit of having played these games now for 30 odd years. You know, some of them maybe 25, whatever, you know, and we will obviously have formed our own opinions on them. You know, some of these games I haven't played, I'll be honest. Some of these games I've played to death, and I know that I love them. Some of these games I've played a little bit and I don't love them as much, and obviously there are more games out there that I've played more that I wish were on here. We've all got that about these consoles, but I don't think overall they haven't picked a game that's below 70% from this magazine, and that is pretty good. You know, that says that they have picked some games that were popular and good. We know that if we picked our own games for these machines, we would probably put different stuff on there. That's, you know, that's just the way we would do it. They haven't done a bad job, I would say, in terms of like looking at what games scored way back then. Even games that I'm not that keen on playing seem to score pretty well. So we will see. The lowest mark was 70% and the highest mark was 95%. I could work out an average, but I'm not going to. This isn't a mathematics course, but at the end of the day, it's just having a look at some of the games that are included on here and just seeing how good or whatever the magazines of the time thought they were. And they seem to like them quite a lot. And obviously, a little side note, in case you haven't heard, which I'm sure you all have by now, the release date has been pushed back a couple of weeks for the A500 Mini because they've had shipping difficulties. And we can all be frustrated. I'm frustrated because, you know, I've been waiting for this for, well, I think I ordered it, I know, 5-6 months ago now, 7, I can't remember when it was announced, October maybe last year. It was around that time, and I've had a pre-order in since then. So yeah, I'm frustrated in terms of like I want to get my hands on this thing, and I've seen people that have. Obviously there's been an unboxing video that's gone up. I haven't watched it because I want to get my console fresh, but yeah, it's frustrating because you just want to get your hands on it. But, you know, we can totally understand with the way the world's been. The weather's been atrocious lately with all these storms and hurricanes, and that's basically what's held it up. Tanker ships, apparently, that have been containing goods have been held because of the weather, and it's just pushed it. But it's only a couple of weeks. I think it's around about April the 6th or the 8th. I'll try and put a screenshot of the statement they released up on the screen so you can see exactly when the release date is, and obviously their reasons for it. And yeah, it's a little bit upsetting, but I guess it gives us a chance to you know, build the anticipation a little bit more. And in my case, it gives me a chance to save up a little bit more, because although I've pre-ordered, I haven't actually paid for it yet. And it's been a tough start to 2022 with the UK, like deciding to put up all our energy bills and everything. You know, we've got to find money that we don't have to pay bills now. So it's not a good time to be buying new consoles and stuff. But what the heck? I'm still going to do it because I'm a gamer at heart. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have stuck it to the end, I really appreciate it. I hope you'll throw a subscription my way. If you're not subscribed already, there are plenty of ways to do it. There'll be a link on screen. There'll be a link all the way through the video you can click on my watermark. And yeah, please do throw a subscribe and tell your mates if they're into Amiga computing, because it really helps the channel. And I really appreciate all you guys for the last few videos. You've really engaged with me. It's been brilliant replying to all your comments and stuff. Please do keep them coming, and put my social media addresses on the screen if you ever want to get in touch with me there as well. But just use the YouTube comments, it'll be easier probably, I'm sure. And tell me what you think of these reviews. Did you buy Amiga format and all the magazines back in the day? I mean, I think most people did. I'm sure we've all got our own opinions on what should and shouldn't be there. Keep them coming in because they're fascinating to read, and I appreciate it a lot because you're coming out with some cracking suggestions, and it's like opening my eyes a lot to the sort of games I'm going to be putting on there myself when the time comes. So I hope to get some videos up when the console releases on how to do the WHDLoad side loading thing. So once I've learned how to do it myself. So stay tuned to the channel for more of that. And there's some Amiga playthrough videos on the channel already if you're into just Amiga. If you're into retro games, there's plenty of those as well, like ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64, Sega Mega Drive and stuff like that. So, or Genesis if you're in the US and other countries. So yeah, check those out. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you on my next video. Bye for now. Stay safe.